It is episode 5 of Squared Circle Radio. It's another pay-per-view preview. The Elimination Chamber is on the horizon, and we're going to break it all down for you on this episode. Of course, I said we. You don't want to hear me just do this. I've got my brother from another mother. The whole podcasting show, Jared Justice, is back on the program. Jared, how's it going, my man?
It's going good, man. I can actually hear you all, so I mean that's a plus.
That is a change of pace, ladies and gentlemen. And you all, that's not just me. Of course, the young buck, Andy York, is with me. Not in person. We are virtual for the first time this season. We try not to make this a regular habit, Andy, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah, it happens more than not sometimes. So, but you got to do what you got to do, and especially a big week heading into Elimination Chamber.
We got to do it. That's exactly right. I am your phenomenal host, Mr. Podcasting, Chris Belcher. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, we appreciate it so much. Please like the video if you're watching on YouTube and subscribe wherever you find your podcast. We would appreciate that very, very much. All right, let's get into it. Since Jared Justice has not been on the podcast in the last couple of weeks, Jared, you went to a live event in Corbin, Kentucky a couple of weeks back, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was the Sunday following The Rock's return on SmackDown when Cody, quote, gave up his spot. Do I have that right? Is that the timeline?
I do believe you are correct.
All right, so you have not been on the podcast since then, and you told me some fantastic stories while we were talking on the phone about your experiences at the live event, taking your fiance. So share just a couple of those things that you wanted to talk about regarding what you saw at the live event and your experience.
I mean, I can give you like some matches I saw. Is that kind of what you want to see?
Sure. Yeah. Let's
Okay.
Give us some matches, and Andy and I will inquire about what you saw.
Okay. So it was weird because me and Tessa, my fiance, got there like, I think it was like 8:05. We were walking in the doors, and this thing was supposed to start at 8. And LA Knight and Solo Sikoa were already in the ring, and the match was already going. So two of my favorites that I really wanted to see, you know, you're walking in and they're already in the ring. So I'm trying to like watch as I go and try to find the seats too. Right. And I'm trying to watch Tess and kind of see how her experience is at the wrestling event for the first time.
Sure.
So,
oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. So LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, you got to see, who did Gunther wrestle?
Gunther wrestled Chad Gable.
Chad Gable. I'm sure that match was incredible, as it has been on television. But, Jared, what was the fan response like for Gunther? Because we all know you're a big Gunther fan. What was that whole situation like in your interactions with people there?
I mean, he got like one of the like loudest pops of the night. And so so, you know, Dad used to take me to wrestling shows, and of course he would always holler at the wrestlers. And so I'd already told Tessa, this is probably going to happen. So, so, you know, it's just more fun whenever that you root for the bad guy, and it confuses people, you know, some people get angry, whatever.
Of course.
So Gunther comes out, and, you know, just every so often I'll just yell like, you know, let's go, Gunther. And there's like this older guy that's like in front of me, and like, you know, he's turned the other way, and he turned around like this. like he just smelled a fart or something, you know, and giving me the stink eye. And so I just kind of, you know, every time I would yell and say something about Gunther, he would do the same thing. So finally, I just stared back at him, and he said, who is that Gunther you're talking about? So then I had to explain to him, you know, which one was which, and then why I liked this man named Gunther, you know, and why I was then rooting for the bad guy that nobody liked. So that was entertaining.
That's hilarious. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm trying to think of what else you told me. So for context, for people that don't know about Corbin, Kentucky, Jared and Andy and I, we're all three Kentuckians. Okay. We all just, not all three of us live in Kentucky anymore, but we're all three Kentuckians. So it's okay for us to poke fun at fellow Kentuckians when the time arises. So Jared went to an event in Corbin, Kentucky, and there, Corbin, Kentucky doesn't get a lot of wrestling on a regular basis. So Jared, it was sort of an eye-opening experience for probably some of these people who don't get wrestling very often, right?
Yes, it was. So I'm trying to find my match order here and see. So we had, and why could I not find this on my list right now?
Well, I know you said, Cody and Shinsuke wrestled in the main event.
Okay, so that's basically, I don't know why I left the main event off of all reasons. Probably because I left as it was ending, so I didn't have time to put it in my phone.
Gotcha.
But anyways. So Cody comes out and, the place explodes and everything. And Shinsuke comes out and, people were just kind of, quiet for the most part. Well, there were 2 or 3 guys sitting behind me. And again, they talk like this.
Of course.
What's going on up there? What are they doing? That type of thing. So I'm listening the whole time to them talk to the wrestlers, They're yelling at them kind of, but they're also talking amongst each other and laughing, and nobody else is really paying attention or thinks it's funny. But so I'm listening now. Well, I'd chug a beer on that, and yeah, go get us a beer. No, you got to drive home. You got to drive home. I mean, just everything you can think of. So Shinsuke just so happens to be in an outfit which is yellow and black. So during the match, I'll kind of like elbow Tess or something whenever they're saying something funny, and then she would start listening too. But we both heard this as one of them said, I want you to look in there in the ring. There, that's a Japanese yeller jacket in there.
Oh.
So Tessa's shaking her head. I'm sure she's embarrassed.
Oh my goodness!
Only
welcome
in Kentucky.
to the wrestling show.
Welcome to Kentucky.
That's exactly right. Oh my goodness. So
good times.
Your yeah, them yeller jackets. Oh geez. Okay. Your fiance, who I have yet to meet, did she enjoy the show? What were her thoughts? First wrestling show, being a live event, not a major pay-per-view or anything. What was her overall takeaway?
So she did say, well, I hate to admit it, but I like it more than I thought I would.
Okay.
So she did like it overall. I did kind of look over from time to time and, she would actually be watching what's going on, in the ring. So that was encouraging, to say the least. And so let's see, who did I have that she liked? She liked Cody.
Of course.
And, liked Cody.
Because who doesn't?
And, right. And she liked DIY. But she didn't really like Imperium. Did not like Harrell at all. Ludwig I guess was not her cup of tea.
No. The great Carell Ludwig Kaiser is just, I don't like him either, but it's fine, whatever. Anyway, that's awesome. I'm glad that she had a good time. Maybe we can drag her on a WrestleMania adventure one of these times. I don't know if she'd go for that or not, but we'll have to see. I tell you what she should go for, though, is Sports Wire Radio, our exclusive partner, your one-stop shop for everything sports. I know Tess doesn't necessarily enjoy all the sports, but I know that our listeners enjoy sports. So check them out, your one-stop shop for everything sports that you need. That is Sports Wire with a Z. SportsWireRadio.org. Our exclusive partner. Go check them out. I know they would appreciate it very much. All right, guys, let's get into why we are here. The Elimination Chamber this Saturday. Now, as they like to continue to repeat on commentary, Andy, you can either stay up late or get up really early to watch this thing. 5 a.m. Eastern start time. I'm going to be honest, I've got a 6-month-old that'll probably wake me up, so I might be able to watch it, but Andy, as much of a wrestling fan as I am, I'm probably not going to be watching this thing live. What have you decided?
Yeah, I think I've decided I'm just going to take a nap between midnight and 4 and get up and watch it probably, and then just go to bed early Saturday night or something like that. But I'll probably who gets to watch wrestling at 4:00 in the morning, a live event? It doesn't really happen that often unless you're staying up to watch like Wrestle Kingdom or something like that. So watching a WWE product at 4:00 in the morning doesn't happen very often. So I'm probably going to be up watching it.
That's a good point. Jared, normally Mr. Night Owl, what are your thoughts on this start time and how you're going to watch it?
I mean, they gave you 2 fine choices, stay up late, go to bed early. I mean, how can I really turn those choices down? No, I mean, like sometimes my sleeping will be weird on the weekends or something, and I'll just wake up really early. So if I wake up, I'm sure that'll probably be one of the things that I think about, and I'll turn the TV on and I might go right back to sleep. But if I'm awake, I will watch it. Not likely.
Should be a good show, though. We're going to recap it on next Tuesday's show. We will not do a traditional pay-per-view recap just because of the odd time that it is and all the things and just a lot of circumstances going into that. But look for that recap coming next Tuesday. Again, wherever you find your podcast, hit that follow button, the download button, all those things. And, of course, on our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That's where your recap will be. That'll be coming next Tuesday. But let's get into the Elimination Chamber card. Guys, a match that I'm really excited for. Andy, I know you're excited for this. Should be, as the kids say, should be a banger for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship, the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest against Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Andy, give us some thoughts about this one.
Yeah, I am very excited about this. This feels like kind of like when DIY challenged for it, kind of like a takeover-esque tag match that could start off the show, get everybody hot and ready for it. I'm very happy to see Pete Dunne back, obviously, and not Butch anymore. I'm glad Butch is dead and gone forever. We're back to Pete Dunne. And I'm glad to see Tyler Bate actually on the main roster because I feel like he was in NXT for 12 years, and now he's finally on the main roster getting called up. And it's a good spot for both of them to be in, so I'm very, very excited for this one.
Jared, what are your early thoughts on this one?
I mean, I think it will be an excellent match, and I'm glad that these guys will be getting the time to show what they can do because, I think they're going to make the most of the time that they're given. So yeah, man, and I too am also glad that we're back to Pete Dunne instead of this Butch character. We had one Butch back in the Bushwhacker days. We don't need another one.
We also had Butch Reed.
Yep.
We also had Hacksaw Butch Reed and then Butch Reed in Doom. So yeah, you're right. I don't think we need a third one. Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. I'm very much excited to watch this. Very much excited for these guys to get their opportunities. Jared, it's super clear right now, and Andy obviously weigh in on this as well. Jared, it's super clear that Vince McMahon is not in charge of creative because of the spotlight the tag team wrestlers are getting, the multiple segments on television that they're getting, the DIYs like Andy mentioned and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate now getting on. Let's be honest, it looks like WWE is headed towards, I don't know if this is going to be a normal pay-per-view thing, but 4 match cards. We saw that at the Rumble. We're looking at it at the Chamber right now, unless they announce something on Raw and SmackDown. But of the 4 matches that are going to happen at this show, Jared, one is a tag match for the tag team titles.
Yeah, pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Yeah, and you can just tell so much that this is Triple H that's in control now. I mean, you watch it from week to week and things, they make sense. There's stories being told, and it's not just revolving around one wrestler or 2 wrestlers. We are kind of incorporating more and more wrestlers in and getting the audience used to their characters and getting used to seeing them. And I mean, it's hook, line, and sinker, man. It's been working on me. I mean, I actually sit and watch the entire Raw, well, like twice now, and probably the past 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time we've had this many organically over baby faces in WWE at one time, where everybody's getting huge reactions as they come out? Because you've got Cody, you've got Jey Uso, you've got Seth, you've got LA Knight, just a lot of people that are over, and they all feel very important, but none of them feel lost in the shuffle at the same time, which is very difficult, I feel like, to do. And, tag team wrestling is one of the best forms of wrestling out there. I mean, when it's done right, there's not really a lot better than tag team wrestling. And so we're getting that again. And the tag division on both Raw and SmackDown is starting to feel even more important. And it's really starting to catch a groove. So I'm all for it.
Currently on Monday Night Raw, speaking of the Judgment Day, as we are recording during Monday Night Raw, it is the 8-man tag between DIY, The Miz, and R-Truth against the Judgment Day. Jared, your boy R-Truth out there calling DIY DX, and as they went to commercial break, we just got the crotch chop from DIY, R-Truth, and The Miz. How cool is it, Jared, to see R-Truth at 50-plus years old in the spotlight like this?
I mean, he's walking a fine line. The list.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, jeez. You can't put R-Truth on the list. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. But no, in all seriousness, Andy mentioned it. TakeOver. This is very TakeOver-esque. This focus on the tag team division, and that's not just the participants of these matches. Yes, these were NXT mainstays when they were there, so I get that. But it's the feeling of these matches, and we get excited about these. Just a new level of enthusiasm behind tag team wrestling, Andy, that is just, it's different for WWE. I feel like WWE has always been able to put on really good tag matches when they've been allowed to. Let's put it that way. Andy, I know that we were in the building at WrestleMania 38 for the triple threat tag with RK Bro and Alpha Academy and Street Profits. And then WrestleMania 39, there was the Fatal 4-Way men's tag that was really exciting. So just, Andy, in different spurts, we've seen this, but now we're seeing it consistently.
Yeah, and I mean, we're at the point now where we're talking about one of the main events of night one being one of the biggest, if not the biggest, tag matches of all time. But if we get Rock, Roman versus Cody and Seth. So yep. it's tag team wrestling is feeling really important, and that'll be 2 WrestleManias back-to-back where a tag team wrestling match is main event in WrestleMania. Yep. So it's a really big deal. And tag team wrestling, it can be overused, but when it's used properly, when it's used right, it's a wonderful thing. It's awesome to see it. So I'm glad we're back at that time where the Intercontinental Championship feels as important as any title on the main roster. The tag titles are starting to feel important. So it's heading in the right direction for sure.
We are on that road to WrestleMania, as Andy just said, and we've recorded past episodes where we've given our WrestleMania thoughts. It's a little bit outdated at this point, but do yourself a favor, go back in the archives and check out some of those thoughts from the press conference. We're going to get to the WrestleMania main event here in just a little bit, but still a couple more matches to break down before we get there. Jared, the women's world champion Rhea Ripley, coming home to Australia, defending her championship against Nia Jax. We all know what happens when Nia Jax gets in the ring. Let's just pray that Rhea doesn't get hurt ahead of WrestleMania, Jared.
You remember that guy from the Saw movies? Oh, yes, there will be blood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do think it's going to be an awesome match. I think that they are going to, whether it's men or not, I think they're both going to go at each other pretty hard. You're going to see some stiff shots. Whether it's just because Nia doesn't know any better and she just does that, and so Rhea hits her back, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's going to be a hard-hitting match.
Definitely will be hard hitting, Andy. I think there's a possibility, man. There's not been too many matches at Elimination Chamber shows that have main evented the show and it not be a chamber. But we speculated it, man. Could they put Rhea and Nia on last?
I would. I mean, at this point, why not put Rhea and Nia on last? You're in Rhea's hometown. She's one of the most dominant champions right now. She's on this massive run, loved by everyone. Why not just throw her out there and put on a 5-minute match where she just kills Nia Jax, 1, 2, 3, we go home, and she looks dominant going into WrestleMania. I mean, at this point, the only other thing I could see main event is the men's chamber. But even then, I would probably still put this one over that one just because of circumstances of where they're at.
Sure. Well, our next match that we're about to cover is the other women's match on the card. That's the women's Elimination Chamber match. Could you not see, Andy, the women's Elimination Chamber main eventing and then Rhea coming back out to confront the winner just to have her on screen going off of the pay-per-view and not have her match be last?
Yeah, I could see that, especially with who's more than likely going to win the women's chamber match. I think you could absolutely do that. But I could also see that going on right before Rhea and Nia and the winner and Rhea crossing paths on the ramp or something like that as she goes down to the ring. I could see something like that as well.
That's a good point, too. Before we hear from Jared on this women's Elimination Chamber match, real quick, I didn't do this. If we're not previewing the show and we don't give our predictions, what in the world are we previewing the show for? Jared, I'll run back to you. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate against the Judgment Day. Who walks away with the championship?
Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate.
Okay, I like it. And Rhea and Nia, what do you think?
Rhea.
Okay, Andy, both those matches.
Yeah, I my heart says Dunne and Bate, but I think Judgment Day are going to hold the titles till WrestleMania, and then I think Rhea has a cakewalk going into WrestleMania.
I agree with Andy on both his picks, but Andy and I can both say that we hope Jared is right on the pick that we're different on because we want to see Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate win those titles. All right, the Women's Elimination Chamber. I tried to make a smooth transition, then I had to backtrack. Sorry. I'm so great at this hosting gig. Anyway, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Naomi, and I was late jumping on Raw. Have they had the qualifier? It's Raquel Rodriguez. Okay, yep. Fun. Okay. So Raquel is the last one in the Elimination Chamber. That is a loaded match. As Andy said, the winner kind of seems obvious. I think if you look at it, the winner seems obvious in both chamber matches, which, if you know anything about wrestling, we're not getting one of them. I don't think we're getting them both. I don't know who it's going to be, but I don't think we're getting both. Jared, break down this women's chamber match for us.
Well, I mean, of course, everybody thinks Becky's going to win, and I think she should win. I think she will win. I think that's the big money match for Mania. But I mean, Bianca, you can't ever count Bianca out. She's like Charlotte Flair. They're just – I mean, just out of nowhere, they're granted title shots or they're slid into that main event picture.
Brock Lesnar, exact same way. Those people it just works every time. Yeah, I'm with Jared. I really I'm looking through this list and to me, I'm picking Bianca here. I think Becky is Jared. Jared said it exactly right. Becky's the money match. That's the one. If Rhea Ripley can conquer Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, she is in another stratosphere. But I also feel like we've been building this Rhea Bianca thing for a long time now, and it easily could come to a head at WrestleMania 40. Andy, what are your thoughts?
I absolutely can see Bianca because, again, it's Bianca Rhea. I don't think anybody's going to complain about Bianca versus Rhea. That's right. I feel like Becky and Rhea is the WrestleMania match, and you could do Bianca Rhea at SummerSlam after next upcoming SummerSlam because I'm still holding hope on Bianca versus Jade at WrestleMania. That's still on my list of those two going at it. So that's why I think Becky is going to win. I think she's going to have a dominant performance. If I did have to give an underdog card to, I would probably give it to Naomi. I think Naomi and Rhea would be very interesting. But I don't see anyone else other than Becky winning the Chamber.
All right, let's fantasy book for a minute. Let's go down the rabbit hole. You said it, Bianca versus Jade Cargill. I don't agree with you, and here's why. Again, you can have an opportunity to defend this. Jared, weigh in. I don't agree with you because I think WrestleMania will be Jade Cargill's first match. And as impressive as you want her first match to be, I don't think you have it against a babyface. I think they definitely had reason for them not to touch in the Rumble, so I 100% see that. I just don't think it's a good idea to put her in the ring against a top babyface like Bianca if you're trying to build Jade as a babyface as well.
Put her in there against Nia.
That honestly, that's exactly what I was thinking, Jared. Like, I know I don't.
Listen.
Go ahead, Andy.
Here's the thing, though. You want Jade to be in there with somebody that's actually decent enough to help with the match, and Nia is not that.
That is totally understandable. It's totally understandable, but I know where Jared's head's at because Jared just wants to see a car crash happen in the middle of the wrestling ring.
Oh, absolutely. But I think you could still make it to where they both come out fine because if Jade beats Bianca, all you have to do is have them shake hands, hug in the middle of the ring, put her hand up, and then they're fine going forward. So I could see those two going at it.
Could you imagine the booze that would rain down? I'm just saying.
But then people would pop if she'd picked her up for a power bomb or something.
See, that's what I'm talking about. She's going to pick her up, and it's going to make Jade look better than ever. Like, if you want her
to be,
I just think
if
you want
Drew Omos again or Bobby Omos again at WrestleMania.
And listen, we were in the building for that, Andy. People popped for that. It was crazy. So I'm just saying, I think Jared's right. Car crash or not, I think Jade. Okay. Let's not get too cocky, okay? I think Jade and Nia is the direction we're headed for WrestleMania. But again, my opinion, I know Andy, listen, you can take a bathroom break during that match. It's fine. Cover your eyes, do all the things.
Well, okay. I want to see Jade, though. That's I just don't want to see Nia. That's the bad part about it.
I understand. I
don't want her to get hurt as soon as she walks in the company like Punk.
All right, we've speculated. We know what the obvious pick is. Let's make final decisions for the Women's Elimination Chamber. I am going with Bianca Belair. Andy, what do you got?
I'm going with Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch, the man. Hard to go against the man. I'm doing it, though. Jared, what you got?
I got Becky.
Okay, well, again, you guys are probably right. We'll see where I fall in the whole thing. Who knows? All right, let's talk about the men's chamber. Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, LA Knight. Yeah. Bobby Lashley, Logan Paul, and Randy Orton. Again, guys, I'm going to throw the grenade right in the middle. I know Drew McIntyre's obvious. I know that Drew McIntyre, everything's pointing to Drew McIntyre, this, that, and the other. But just like those people that Jared just named, Brock Lesnar, Charlotte Flair, you cannot discount Randy Orton in this situation. He is the one that you're looking at. It's like, it's right there. Why not?
Yeah.
I can also tell you he's coming out last in the chamber because he ain't taking all those bumps for the whole time.
That is a good point. Yeah. That is very true. Jared, what are your thoughts, man? A stacked card in the chamber.
I mean, I think it's going to be Drew. I want it to be Drew. I love Drew's character. I think right now is the time to do as much as you can with Drew. I mean, supposedly he hasn't re-signed yet. You can believe whatever you want. I don't know. The more that you could give this man to sink his teeth into, the more likely he is to stay with your company. And I really want to see where his character goes. So all that to say, I think Drew's getting the win. I mean, hands down.
Okay, Andy?
Yeah, I agree, and I'm 100% behind Drew for one reason, and it happened tonight. he is the second man to ever pin Cody Rhodes since he returned and beat him. So I don't see them giving him that and then losing the chamber match as well. So I think Randy has a great shot. It'll probably come down to Drew and Randy. But I don't see anyone else but Drew winning this one.
I like it. Jared, I was wrong on my prediction earlier today. I said that would be an absolute schmallish finish, and it would it would be a whatever. But if Drew pinned him, then okay.
It gave me PTSD though, because Solo came out in the hood and spiked Cody while the refs was turned. So,
and that was 100% what it was supposed to do.
And I flew mad like I did, and then I sat back and went, I get why they did it, and I'm okay with it. I still hate it. I'm still mad at it, but I get why they did it.
Ooh, that makes me mad.
It's going to be worth it when he kicks out at 1 when that happens at WrestleMania. that is my bet. That's my hope is when that happens.
It's a precursor to WrestleMania, because they're going to call it back a bunch of more times before then. Let's talk about a couple of guys that I'm really interested in as to why they're in this match. And that is Logan Paul and LA Knight. We all know that we have sort of been on a collision course with them for WrestleMania, for the U.S. title. We might have pivoted a little bit. Seems like this Kevin Owens, Logan Paul thing might not be over with. You got LA Knight and AJ Styles over here on the other side. Jared kind of going back and forth at each other. Could be 2 singles matches at Mania. They could put them in a fatal 4-way for the U.S. title. We know they like to do that for that title. Jared, what are your thoughts on those guys? I know AJ's not in this match, but just how all that ties together.
Okay, now you said a lot there. So exactly what are you wanting my opinion on?
The fact that it seemed like we were pointing towards singles matches for Logan Paul at this pay-per-view, maybe with an LA Knight, or an LA Knight versus AJ Styles, yet Logan Paul and LA Knight are in this match for a reason. What are your thoughts on how we're coming out of this? Because we're all in agreement they're not going to win the match. So going forward, how do you think we're coming out of it with these 3 or 4 guys?
Well, I think Logan Paul and LA Knight, they're going to have an awesome match at some point. And you can have that at Mania, that's fine. But I think why that they chose to not do it right now and to save it for Mania is because with everything that's been going on, you had Punk come back, you've had Drew doing what he's done, you've got The Rock back, you've got all this crap going on. And LA Knight went from like the top thing on everybody's mind to like nobody's really talking about him. So I think maybe it's an attempt to put him in there and let you think, okay, maybe he has a chance. Maybe they'll all team up and like I'll give them like their finishers. Something will happen to make him look good, to make it look like he could still hang in a world title picture, even though he's not in it right now. I think that's why they did it.
Yeah, I think the theme for WrestleMania 40 is pivot at this point. And I think it's worked out so far. I do like the idea, because I didn't think about it. I do like the idea of the fatal 4-way at Mania for the U.S. title between AJ, LA Knight, KO, and Logan Paul. I think that'd be a great way to get all 4 guys on the show and in a high profile match. I think the only thing that kind of holds it back is I think Kevin Owens still has a fractured wrist or something.
Was it ankle?
Yeah, it was. It started out being wrist, and then he broke his ankle or fractured his ankle on the way to the Rumble, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So I think that's the only reason why I don't think we're getting another one-on-one between him and Logan Paul. I think we may get a triple threat or a fatal 4-way. And I think it's just a great way to put Logan Paul in there with 3 guys who are going to give him a fantastic match at WrestleMania. And then you throw him in there and he can handle his own. And I think it's just the recipe for a success at Mania.
It seems like Logan Paul and LA Knight are tied together. It seems like Kevin Owens is still sprinkled in there a little bit. And then, of course, AJ Styles. I just don't know what you do with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles at WrestleMania if you don't put them in with these guys. And those are 2 guys that, when healthy, you can't leave off the WrestleMania card. Yeah. Like AJ missed last year. Kevin Owens missed a couple of years ago. Like, those are two of the more popular guys on the roster that you just can't leave off. So I just don't know what's next for them if they're not involved with these guys in some way.
Could you do Braun Breaker against one of them at Mania for like his first big match?
You know, that's a good possibility. Andy and I talked last week about how we're sick of AJ Styles being the guy that's just getting pinned to the mat and putting another guy over. But I could easily see them having Braun Breaker do that, Andy.
Yeah, I could too. And I think there's a way Kevin Owens gets involved in the Roman Cody match at WrestleMania. I think we could see all the people that Roman has wronged over the years, like Sammy and KO and all these other people coming out to help Cody keep off the bloodline. So I know it's not a match that he's in, possibly, but it could be a moment where he comes out and they finally, all of them, put down Roman Reigns once for all. Kind of like the Avengers versus Thanos at that point. They've called all the help they can get, and everybody's running down to do it.
It could be interesting, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Before we get there, though, let's talk about Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins on the Grayson Waller effect coming up. Sam Roberts said he thinks this could main event the show, depending on what happens. If you were to get a Roman Rock surprise appearance, like, I don't know. But, Jared, I'm going to start with you. It's a talk show segment. We know they don't put talk show segments on pay-per-views for no reason. Something's going to happen. What do you think we see here with Cody and Seth?
So I didn't even know this was a thing. So it's going to be Cody and Seth on the Grayson Waller effect.
That is true.
Whatever.
Yes, that is correct. Yep.
Man, I don't know. Like I said, I'm baffled now, but I'm curious.
Andy, what do you think we're going to see?
I think at the minimum, we're definitely getting them challenging Roman and Rock at Mania.
Okay.
I think that's kind of where we kind of come down to is that at the most, a face-to-face between all four men would just absolutely light the place on fire if Rock and Roman came out and confronted them. I don't think we get Rock Roman. I think this is there specifically to continue to hype the main event and to also play into the tag match that we might end up getting or whatever we're going to get between these four guys. I think we get a very clear picture at Elimination Chamber with it.
Andy, here's one thing that I think we can get, and it's something that you have been begging for 2 weeks now, almost 3, I guess it's been, is an explanation behind Cody saying he's going to take everything from Roman, but not at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Maybe we get an explanation at this show as to why he said that. I don't know.
That'd be great.
We need that before Mania. Like, that has to be, and I don't care if it's in Roman's face. I don't care if he's by himself. We just need to know why he originally was going to give his spot up. Because that's the one thing in this entire story that still does not make any sense, why he said that there.
Yep.
And if we get a reason for it, then it all kind of comes together a lot better. So I hope we get it. I think that could be something heading into WrestleMania that he just kind of does in front of Rock and Roman. But we need it at some point.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know what other response that I don't know what other response that he could have for that question than just saying, like, Rock tricked me, basically.
Yep.
Like, I thought that he was going to go out there to take Roman out, but he was really just about having the biggest match ever that he could have for himself. Something along those lines. I mean, I don't know really what else he could say that would even make sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Jared, do you feel like that needs to be in front of Rock? Andy mentioned it being in front of Roman. Does it need to be in front of Rock as well, so that as we're getting ready to get into with this Rock and Roman SmackDown segment, that you can see how Rock and Roman interact with whatever Cody is saying and however that's going to build?
I mean, I hope that's what they do, because it's just like at that press conference event thing that they had. I mean, Roman's acting, the expressions, and Rock, of course. I mean, that was what made all that. Like all their facial expressions.
Right. No, absolutely. It'll be interesting Andy to see how this plays out, because like I said, there's a talk show on a pay-per-view for a reason. Grayson Waller likes to stir it up. You know, I think Andy, it could be a situation where Grayson Waller gets under their skin and we see an impromptu Cody Rhodes versus Grayson Waller match on the show.
Or we see Cody and Seth tag against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller because they're together too.
Depends on Seth's health.
Right, yeah. And he also said he wanted to get a match in before Mania, so this could be that kind of testing the water in a tag match where he's not, you know, taking the full brunt of or anything. But that could end up being something like that. I think we get a moment where we know what the main event is already, sort of. I mean, obviously they could still swerve us with something wild.
Yep.
But I think we get a very clear picture as to where both nights are heading. Because we've only got 6 weeks till Mania now?
Something like that. Yeah, we're right at like 50 days, I think. Maybe a little under. Yeah. Something like that.
So you've got time, but you don't want to take too much time and drag this thing out to where everybody's like, all right, we need to do something to get our interest back into it.
All right. Jared, you weren't on the show last week. So as we wrap up, before we talk about Rock and Roman here, I got Andy's take on this last week, and I want to get your take on it. Seth, in his promo last Monday night, told Cody that there's no other person that could be Cody's shield but Seth Rollins. So that means, obviously, Rollins is going to have his back, blah, blah, blah. But, Jared, let's actually put that into context. Let's read between the lines here. If Rollins is Cody's shield, and we look back at history as to what Rollins did to the shield, do you see a scenario? I'm not saying if Seth is going to turn, because I think all signs point to Seth turning at some point. But when is my question. Do you think we get this tag match that we're supposedly building to? Do you think we get it at all? Do you think Seth turns on the way to WrestleMania as a way to throw more adversity at Cody Rhodes because he doesn't need any more? Let's just heap it on him.
I mean, I can see, I guess, a scenario as bad as I hate to see the scenario where that maybe if there is no tag match at all before Mania or during Mania, that during the main event, you have Seth come out there and act like he's, going to do something to help Cody. Then he does something awful to Cody, pedigrees him through 2 tons of steel or something ridiculous. And then
what is this? A lights out match or something?
Cody fights back. Another obstacle he's overcome. Because I swear, if they let this man lose, and I have to hear about this daggone story for another year.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know that I can keep watching the show. He must win.
He has to.
All right. Well, let's talk about if he's going to or not. And of course, that boils down to the Rock and Roman Reigns segment on SmackDown. We know that the internet's been talking about the camera angles and who did Rock actually point at and what was he talking about. We all know that. But let's lay this out. There is a very real scenario in which The Rock turns on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and is one of those people, like Andy said, that helps Cody win the title. And as Sam Roberts said, maybe we get a repeat of Royal Rumble 2015, but it's Rock holding Cody's arm up at the end of the night rather than Roman's. There's a very real scenario where that happens. But Andy, let's face your fears. There is a very real scenario where we see another interference finish to a Roman Reigns match, and this time it's The Rock that costs Cody. And then we continue down this Rock-Roman storyline with Roman champion. Thoughts on that and just your overall takeaways from their promo last Friday? Jared is so giddy. If you people are not watching on YouTube right now, Jared is so dang giddy with what I am presenting to Andy right now. It is so funny. Okay, go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, so I hate it, first of all. We can't go through another year of this again. I mean, we just absolutely cannot go through another year of interference, and then nothing happens. We need to resolve both their stories at some point, and we don't need to postpone it past Mania. I think the most likely scenario is not necessarily Rock turning on Roman, but Roman turning on Rock before we get to the main event of WrestleMania, and that is what also aligned Rock with Cody kind of going in, because then you could also set up down the line I'm not saying if anymore, when Cody wins at WrestleMania, you could set up down the line at SummerSlam or at the Rumble or at Survivor Series where Cody and Rock go at it for the title. And that's where Roman can come back, cost the Rock, and then there we go. We're heading into WrestleMania, Rock Roman. Cody stays fine with the championship, and we just move away from all of that. I don't see a scenario where it works out for everyone where Rock cost Cody the title.
Jared, what are your thoughts?
Man, Cody versus Roman at Mania is what I want. I don't want people getting involved. I don't want to wonder about The Rock. I don't want to wonder about these other people. I just want Cody to win the match. And so that's what I'm going to keep hoping for, is that Rock's not dropping any hints. There's no camera angle crap going on. Him and Roman, for right now, are on the same side. And you can do whatever you want on the road to WrestleMania. You can have night 1, night 2 matches with The Rock and Roman and Cody and all that crap. But in the end, let's just hope it works out that it's Roman versus Cody. No Rock as the ref. We don't need that.
Right.
So.
All right. So Andy, you both have presented your scenario very clearly that you don't want Rock involved in the main event. It needs to be straight up Roman and Cody. Okay. I get that. And you've both expressed that you want Cody to finish this dang story, and we need Cody to be champion at WrestleMania so we don't have to. Okay, I get that as well. And I'm not pushing back on either of those things, because you all, the people that are listening to this show, might think I'm just playing devil's advocate or I'm whatever. I'm just presenting what I think is a very real scenario that could actually happen. Here's what I'm going to ask both of you, though. Let's say that both of your dream worlds play out the way that it should, and Cody Rhodes wins the championship as he should at WrestleMania. Okay. Andy, you think that Roman should turn on Rock heading into WrestleMania, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So Jared, Rock Roman split, we know it's coming at some point so we can get the match. When do you think it happens, and how? Do you think it's after Mania? Does Rock get mad at Roman for losing, or what do you think?
I think it's as simple as after Roman loses to Cody the next night on Raw or whatever, you have Rock come out and say, well, little cousin couldn't get the job done, but The Rock can. And then The Rock goes after Cody. That simple. You put Rock then there at the head of the table. Roman is not happy about that. You build to that as you're building towards Rock and Cody.
Okay. Yeah, because I think we can all agree that we need to get Rock Cody at some point as well. But I think you need to do that with Rock being a full-fledged heel. I think he needs to be the high chief, not even the tribal chief. He needs to be the high chief. He needs to play that character. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but him coming out in the vest that looks like his $5,000 shirt, keeping the sunglasses on, and being corporate Rock was just super cool to me. Yes. I think we need to keep down that path. I think that's a good way to go. Cody Rock maybe at SummerSlam. And then you somehow.
When's the next Saudi show?
Probably in like September or October. Yeah, because April is WrestleMania. May is Backlash in France. I think Money in the Bank is in June or it's July. Regardless, it's in Toronto.
Right.
SummerSlam. Do we know where SummerSlam is?
I don't think so.
I don't think we know where SummerSlam is, but then I think it's at either the beginning of August or very end of July, because the Berlin show pay-per-view is the end of August. It's like August 25th or something like that. So that would put a Saudi show probably in September or October, and then you've got Survivor Series in November. So you're right. We could end up getting it there. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I assume, the way the Saudi prince likes his legends, Rock will be on the next Saudi show.
Yeah.
Whenever that is.
Hopefully against Yokozuna.
Listen, you can't bring up the man's dead family member. Come on.
I would have got slapped in the face. I forgot about that.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Good stuff. Great preview. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you do, please like the video, subscribe wherever you find your podcast, and on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you do that and tune in next Tuesday when we give our reaction to what happened at the show. And we do a couple other things that we'll tell you towards the end of the show. But right now it is time to pivot. Again, Andy, we love that. I'm just going to start using that word just for the fun of it.
I'm just going to make a t-shirt that just says pivot on it and just wear it.
That's so good.
Every time.
That should be our next t-shirt. Speaking of t-shirts,
it should be.
We'll work on our pro wrestling tee store. I know people have been asking. We'll work on that. But right now, Jared Justice, it is time for some Elimination Chamber trivia. That is exactly right. Jared is going to lead us through this trivia segment since he was not here last week as Andy and I did it. This trivia, again, is going to be centered around the Elimination Chamber, the history of all the things. Jared's got a few questions for us. Jared, lay it on us, my friend.
All right. So, who in storyline created the Elimination Chamber? Do either one of you know?
I got it. Andy?
I think I know, but I don't remember exactly. I'm going to look like an idiot if I get it wrong. I don't know exactly.
It is Eric Bischoff.
That was my guess. Yeah.
All right. So you had it, Andy. Come on, be confident.
I did.
So, what is the see-through portion of the chamber pods made of? And there's actually a couple of different answers that they've said over the years. So I'm just kind of curious what answers you all will give.
Isn't it like plexiglass?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. It's like bulletproof plexiglass or something like that.
Basically, yes. They're different things, but bulletproof glass was what it started out as. And then it went to like Lexan glass or plexiglass. They've kind of said all those, but yeah.
So we all get it. We all get a big.
Yeah.
All right, what we got?
So, out of everybody, who has won the most chamber matches?
That is tough.
The first answer that came to mind was Triple H.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. You got
Oh, really?
Yeah. Won the first women's Elimination Chamber match.
Oh, gosh.
I'll wait on you for this one, Andy. I got it.
Can I get a year?
2018. Not waiting on you, brother. Alexa Bliss.
I should have known that you knew right away.
Alexa Bliss was the winner.
So here's my my personal favorite here, because me and Chris used to always joke about when this happened, and we would always mock this person. But anyways, who famously pulled double duty and competed in 2 chamber matches, one of which he wasn't even scheduled for?
Yeah, as that would be the rated.
That would be the rated R superstar Edge.
Who was it that he destroyed? Was it Kofi?
It was
Yeah, it was
Kofi.
Kofi.
It
And then he
was
shuts
Kofi.
himself inside the cage and keeps saying, "I'm in this thing," over and over until they just let him stay in there. I mean, all he says is, "I'm in this thing. I'm in this thing," over and over and over.
Yes, he did.
Award-winning acting right there.
Which is funny that he went on to become an actor and all the things and 5 seasons of Haven or whatever it was. He was only supposed to be 2 episodes and it was 5, whatever. I don't remember. Anyway. Good stuff, man. Appreciate those questions. That's awesome. Elimination Chamber Trivia. Again, last week, Andy and I did our first head-to-head trivia episode, so go back and check it out if you haven't already. We talked all about champions. It was champions trivia, so go check that out, and then we will do some more head-to-head trivia coming up in the near future. But coming up next week, it will not be head-to-head trivia. It will be a recap of the Elimination Chamber event, as we've already talked about. So that'll be Tuesday. And we will also dive into AEW Revolution. We will see what is on tap for that card. I know Jared and I are going to have to do some research. Andy can tell us all about the AEW pay-per-view coming up. No, seriously, we'll talk about it. We'll do a little research. This is not going to be Chris and Jared playing dumb. We'll know what we're talking about. If you're an AEW fan, you just might not like what we're talking about. Let me just be honest. No, it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. And then, Andy, this coming Thursday is week 4 of the MCWF, available on this very podcast feed. And then Saturday, the day of the Elimination Chamber, our first fantasy booking pay-per-view of season 3 drops. Man, 1 month into our show. It's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Can't believe we're already here. It went by really fast, but enjoying where we're at. And let's just say the party doesn't stop at the first pay-per-view. We keep rolling.
It is definitely a lot of fun. You know what else is a lot of fun? Putting someone on the list of Jared. The list of Jared was an unplanned bit that just sort of happened on our first episode, and we have made it a staple of every single show that we do. Jared, who goes on the list this week?
So, since it is going to come from whenever I attended the live event, since I had not got, to be on here.
Okay.
So that were disliked. Since, my fiance disliked this gentleman, I'm going to put him on the list. And that is going to be none other than Karel Ludwig Kaiser.
That is so chivalrous of you to put that is so chivalrous of you to put him on the list just because your fiance didn't like him. That's just, man. Well, look at you. All-star fiance right there you are. My goodness, look at you.
The children behind me also said, hey Dad, why is that man pressing around like that?
And on that note, Jared goes on the list of Jared, ladies and gentlemen. All right. If you're digging what we're doing, we appreciate you all so very much. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you find your podcast, and on our YouTube channel, we would appreciate it. Throw some love over to Tom and the crew over at SportsWire Radio. They do a great job of keeping you up to date on all of your sports news. That is SportsWire with a Z. SportsWireRadio.org is their home. They play us all the time over there. So if you miss our show on your regular podcast feed, or if you're listening via SportsWire Radio, I know they appreciate it, as do we. Follow us all over social media at SQCircle_radio. Jared is at JWJust01 on Instagram, not on Twitter. I am on all social media at Chris Belcher24, and Andy is at Andy_SQR.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. All right, Jared, man, welcome back to the show after a 2-week absence. It's always a blast having you back on. Anything else to add before we sign off, my brother?
No, man, I was just talking to somebody actually at work today and telling them about how that, like, for the first time in a long time, I've been so interested again in the WWE product. And I said, I hope that this keeps on going even after Mania. Because, you know, in years past, under a certain man's control, it would always just plummet right after Mania. So I'm hoping they can keep this thing going.
Amen to that. Andy, you got anything else before we sign off?
No, just join me at 4 a.m. if you're in Central Time on Saturday, and we'll be live tweeting Elimination Chamber, live Xing. Do we call it Xing now, or do we call it?
No, it's still tweeting. It's still tweeting.
But we'll be live there talking, giving thoughts about the pay-per-view as we go along. Apparently, my wife is going to be up with me watching it, so she wants to do like Australian themed snacks for it. So we'll see.
She's not going to make it. My goodness.
I'm not banking on it either, but you know what? If she is, it's great.
What a show next Tuesday is going to be. Make sure to join us for Jared Justice, Andy York. My name is Chris Belcher. This has been Squared Circle Radio. We'll catch you guys down the road.